Hello?
You and I, yesterday, played Dead or Alive 5,
Yeah.
last round.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that we had a really good time.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun cursing at you
Right.
for you pinning me into corners and just beating me to hell. And that was still fun, frustrating, but fun. Yeah.
I did not always play fairly. I picked Zach and spammed low kick till you died.
Till I
basically.
died.
Yeah.
That was pretty good to see. Me trying my best and you just button mashing essentially to victory.
We were both button mashing.
We both were. I want to say I was a little bit more calculated because I actually went up and down, but I mean, no, I didn't. No, that's a lie.
I think kind of the main point that I took away is, hey, I really liked Dead or Alive 5, and I don't think that game ever got its chance in the sun.
I don't think so either. I don't know what it is about that series because I've always really liked that series. It just, it just kind of like skipped my mind. I don't know. Was it like a heavy release date? Did something amazing come out that like just overshadowed it completely? Like, I remember it coming out, but it just being sort of a thing that everyone was like, okay, sweet, let's move on to something else. It's still a really fun game.
It is. I am not great at fighting games, but I really like the fighting game community. I enjoy watching fighting game streams and tournaments and all that stuff. And there's always been this stigma against 3D fighters. Some have less of a stigma and some have more. And I think that sort of coupled with the tone of Dead or Alive 5. It's a lot of, hey, you can buy all these skimpy outfits and here are these ridiculously proportioned women. I think it just doesn't. I mean, a lot of fighting games have ridiculously proportioned women, but Dead or Alive is like,
definitely
blows it over the top.
Yeah, they don't make it a secret that what they're going for is a very superficial demographic of people. You know what I mean?
Right.
They have beach volleyball for a reason, and it's to show booby physics. And even with this iteration now, you can still see that, even with the custom costume options and some of the Halloween costumes. They're really skimpy.
Right.
Really skimpy. But as like a fighting game in terms of just like technicality, it still holds up.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I like Dead or Alive 5 never tries to present itself other than anything it actually is. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. But like the story is absurd and fun and kind of all over the place. And the characters are kind of off the wall and crazy. And I do think it's a technically competent fighter, that sort of like balance between grabs and punches and kicks and counter grabs. Like you can definitely get super into it. But at the same time, more so than a lot of other fighting games, you can pick it up and just have fun. Like if you know what the kick button is and you know what the punch button is, you can go. And it looks really good and it feels really satisfying. Like you don't really have to do a lot of quarter circles or dragon punches or anything like that. You can just kind of pick it up and go.
I think it's definitely a more like grounded fighter because you don't see many of them do like Hadoukens or like crazy like power kicks or whatever. There seems to be a lot more like kind of that MMA grounded, like here's a kung fu style, here's a martial arts style, here's like capoeira, there's wrestling, there's grappling, and each character, looking at them, you can tell what type of fighter they are, whether it is grapple or it is jiu-jitsu or, drunken fighting, things like that. And I think, they show it really well. And I feel like they've been trying to stress this idea of it being a cinematic fighter, of the showmanship of being able to play with just two people, but have other people really watch and show that it's this spectacle, which if you see some of the levels and just all of the, the elements of you being able to kick people out of the environment and shifting into a new environment, it's pretty traditional of DOA. And just now that it's on new gen or current gen, it just looks that much better.
Definitely. It is a game that is very fun to watch just because, you're kicking somebody into a wall and it explodes and then they fall down to another level. Yeah, it's a very, visually appealing game. And for people that are familiar with Dead or Alive 5, they're listening to us and they're like, we already know all this stuff. Well, here's the stuff that's new in last round. 2 new stages. Danger Zone, which is a remake of a stage that was present in the original Dead or Alive, and that is crazy. They told us, hey, this is totally broken. Just have fun with it, and there's this small like square safe zone, and then everything else you can, if they fall on that spot, like in this wide area, they get shot up. And you can combo them super easily.
And it's great because if you like kick them off the platform and they hit one of those danger zones, you just see them fly up in the air like just like this cartoonish, exaggerated explosion, and it's just little things like that that really bring like extra life to it.
Definitely, it's ridiculous and it's a lot of fun, and the game embraces it. I appreciate that. The other stage is Crimson, which looks really good. You're kind of in this gritty urban area. You can start on a roof and knock them down into the street, and there's these neon lights and like an evening sky, and it's a cool stage.
Yeah, it's a great environment. And they've always done environments right. You know, if there's one thing that other fighters probably don't do, maybe this is just attributes to this whole idea of like 3D fighter versus 2D fighter, is like, yeah, you have environments in 2D fighters, but they're just backdrops. You know, these are all like interactive environments that you can actually corner people in. Obviously, with the 2D fighter, you get to the end of the screen and then that's the corner. But you know, being able to sidestep, being able to really navigate your way around the environment, know where to kick them to your advantage.
The other thing that we can talk about, there's stuff we can't talk about, which is kind of exciting. But the other thing that we can talk about is there are 400 pieces of clothing, I guess is the best way to put it. And what's cool about that, I mean, the outfits again are just so absurd. Like you could put Zach in a giant neon green like skeleton suit. You can put Lisa in a Santa outfit. And who are you playing in the devil costume?
The devil costume, I think it was Hayabusa?
Nope.
Hayate?
No, it was a girl.
Oh, it was a girl. Oh, the devil costume. Christy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And what I liked about that is you could set it to, I actually don't know if you could do this in the original Dead or Alive, but with all of these different costumes, you can set it to random, so every time you fight, you get a new costume. Yeah, it's kind of fun seeing what they walk out in. And yeah, it's one of those things, it's $40 for the current gen version and $30 for the last gen version. It's one of those things where if you've kind of invested heavily in Dead or Alive 5, you know, $40 is still a lot of money. I don't know. It looks better than it ever has, for sure. But if you have never played Dead or Alive and looking for a fighter that's really easy to jump into, I think that's a pretty good deal.
It's a really great deal for all the things that you get, you know, all this extra stuff, especially just with like all the new costume options. And this is the definitive edition.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. It does definitely feels like the definitive edition.
And you get a bunch of stuff. It's not just a graphical upgrade. You get everything that I think people wanted in DOA 5, and you get in last round.
Yeah, and it's nice. They're being very explicit. We're not making another version after this. So if you do buy it, you don't have to worry about it being outdated.
Yeah. Literally the last round.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for your time, Max. We need to rematch. I think you need to regain your honor in Dead or Alive 5.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Don't you worry about it.
All right. Looking forward to it.